Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully, feels good to sit and rest your legs. When I'm walking around, that's what I do. Hope you're having a good session. So today, we want to talk a little bit about attack surface management and the distinguish between external and internal and the value of doing both of them together. My name is Vinay Anand. I am the Chief Product Officer at NetSPI, and my colleague Tom is our CTO and also the ex-CEO of Hubble, the company that we acquired just about a month ago, to deliver a lot of what we're talking about. Before we get started, how many of you know NetSPI? One. All right. Good. Gives me something to talk about. Okay, so we are a proactive security company. We focus extensively on pen testing our customers' environments. We've been in the business for quite a while, and you can see the numbers here. We have a large number of Fortune 100, Fortune 500. We have 8 of the 10 top banks, tens of thousands of pen tests over the years, all kinds of certifications, all the usual stuff. So we have deep expertise in pen testing. We have about 300 dedicated security specialists, pen testers in our roles, and we put them through really rigorous training. Usually it takes a year of prep once they join the company before they can actually operate. So we give them some serious training, and we are trusted pretty much across the industry. In terms of our coverage, you can see our portfolio. All the boxes on the left are the various types of pen tests we cover. Anything that's important, we do it. Network, applications, internal and external network, cloud, APIs, IoT, to the extent of even doing mainframe pen testing. Most recently, we launched AI, of course, right? You can't be on the floor here and not talk about AI. Just a few months ago, we launched pen testing for AI. So we look at LLMs, we look at jailbreaking and privacy and a bunch of other things. So that is our pen testing side of the business, right? With a ton of experts. In parallel, we've also been building products. So we built ASM, external ASM, which looks at your external attack surface, all the IPs that are exposed to the internet. We scan, we probe, we look for vulnerabilities, we look for applications, ports, protocols exposed, etc. We also do attack simulation, breach and attack simulation. So we reverse engineer lots of attacks, look at threat intel, and we're able to create place and procedures and test your environment, whether you have the right compensatory controls against those attacks. So we have between 500 to 1,000 different place and processes that we use. And most recently, of course, we acquired CAASM, and we'll talk about it. This allows us to do internal ASM, look at the inside of your network. And all of this is brought together on our new platform we built called the NetSPI platform. We introduced this platform just about 2 months ago. And the foundation of that is PTAS, Pen Testing as a Service, which allows us to deliver all of our pen tests on the same platform. So what we have done is we have built one unified data model and asset model. We can bring together assets, vulnerabilities, exposures from all of our products into one unified view. And that allows us to do better risk prioritization, better attack pathing, and things like that. So today's goal, in the next 15 minutes, we want to talk a little bit about what's happening with attack surface. All of you, at least those of you who are customers, I'm sure some of you are vendors also, you understand that the attack surface is evolving. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, as migration to the cloud happened, and it's still happening, started doing Kubernetes workloads and API gateways and things like that. Every single element in your network is a potential attack surface. Every few years, there is a change in our IT landscape. Companies go through M&A, they bring in new IPs. So your external attack surface is constantly evolving. And your internal surface, all of your IT assets are also evolving. First and foremost, the most urgent thing for you guys is to say, do I know what I have? Do I have full visibility into all of my assets? Without having that, it's impossible to protect them and to even understand where the attacks are coming from, even understand the risk you are in. So that is where the value of having visibility comes in, and it's challenging in a changing world. What we are doing now, we have built external ASM, and with the acquisition of Hubble, which is our internal ASM product, we can give you a full 360-degree view of your attack surface. And we can start layering vulnerabilities on top of it and exposures and a lot of other use cases. NetSPI has been focusing on a process where we focus on discovering all your assets and vulnerabilities, prioritizing them for you, and saying which ones are most urgent, which ones are most important, and then helping remediate. So this journey of discover, prioritize, remediate is kind of the core of everything we do. All of our products, all of our pen tests, all of our investments go into building out this journey of discovering things, prioritizing where you should focus on, and helping you remediate. We built the platform, as I said, we introduced this 2 months ago, to help drive your entire proactive security framework and your strategy, which is essentially looking at things in a preemptive fashion and making sure that before an attack happens, you know what is there, what the risks are, and what the exposures are. Okay, let me cut over to my friend here, and he'll talk a little bit about Hubble, our CAASM solution, what was the motivation behind it. Tom?
Thank you, Vinay, and great to be here, and thank you for joining. My name's Tom Parker. I'm the founder and CEO formerly of Hubble Technology. We were a startup founded in 2020, backed by the CrowdStrike Falcon Fund and Excel, so two huge names in venture financing and cybersecurity, of course. We started the business because I wanted to build the tool that I needed as a CISO. I was formerly the line of business CISO at AIG Insurance. Before that, I sold my last business to Accenture Security, at the time 6,000 people strong, working with some of the biggest brands in the world, working with CISOs, trying to really understand what the fundamentals of their security program were and what they were missing. We were doing a lot of very, very technical work, a lot of the work similar to the work that we do on the services side at NetSPI, and really trying to get into the root cause analysis of why these vulnerabilities were allowed to exist, why a system was left unpatched, why CrowdStrike or whatever EDR you might be using wasn't installed on certain endpoints. And it became really, really clear to me, just chatting with CISOs, that a lot of these types of issues that you see on the screen today manifest themselves as a result of poor visibility into what's on your network, but also visibility into the controls that are in your environment. So is the control performant? Is it configured correctly? Do I know what 100% is? So when I was at AIG, we invested in a major EDR vendor. I distinctly remember a conversation with a board member who asked us, what percentage of our environment do we have EDR on? And I couldn't answer that. I could say how many endpoints were active, right? I could go into the console and see we had, several, 1,000 endpoints that were communicating, great. But what am I missing? And can I give that board member a confident answer about where we have gaps and how we're going to close those gaps? And so it became very clear that one of the fundamentals here is we don't know what 100% is. Our networks are growing so quickly, sprawl within our own IT environments, legacy IT, of course, complexity with things like BYOD, cloud systems, ephemeral systems, you name it, right? It's just making it more difficult for the CISO and not easier. Obviously, these technologies offer huge opportunity for us as technologists, but at the same time, they start introducing some unique challenges and also compound existing challenges that we've been struggling with for years. And so we wanted to create a singular platform to create that single source of truth, and I'm hitting the wrong button, here we go, to really solve the problem of internal visibility predominantly. Cloud visibility, I saw at the time, was actually a relatively simple problem to solve. AWS, Azure, GCP, they have pretty good native tools in their own environments that give you reporting on what you have in your environments, what they're running, what AMI instance, a template was used to build an instance. Obviously, it becomes more complicated when you're in a multi-cloud environment. But really, the problem we were looking to solve was the legacy IT, industrial control systems, IP-connected cameras, you name it, right? Virtualization. And so one of the things that really excited me about when, Vinay, we started chatting with the NetSPI team was the power of what NetSPI had already created from an external attack surface visibility standpoint, we'd already started somewhat on a journey of creating our own external discovery capabilities, but not anywhere close to the maturity of the NetSPI EASM solution. And so the power of bringing these two capabilities together for the first time, providing you inside out, outside in visibility, and stitching that information together. Hands up if you're responsible in the room for external attack surface, external vulnerability reporting, right? How many hours have you spent trying to figure out what this IP address goes to inside your network, who the owner is, right? Great. One of my external attack surface vendors, or I got a report from, at AIG, we use Security Scorecard and some other providers, and we would get reports all the time, which was interesting, but I need it to be actionable. I need to know who I need to pick up the phone to and say, hey, you've got this web server that's running an old version of IIS. We need to fix that. And so being able to stitch together those two corpuses of data into a single data set is a strategic imperative. This shouldn't be a nice to have for security teams now. This should be a requirement as a fundamental of any security program. And so the way that we do it is completely agentless. Many of the organizations that I met with were just fatigued. And I can tell you, it was a huge effort for us to implement a new EDR over at when I was at AIG, not because there was anything wrong with the agent, right? People just don't like installing more stuff on their endpoints. And so we knew that we had to have extremely high time to value. We had to be able to integrate with the existing tech in your environment. When I was at Accenture, we had a really big thesis around the idea of untrapping value, unlocking value. So not necessarily and it's even more important now with like budgets that are relatively flat, right? How can we do more with what you already have in your environment? And so the way that NetSPI's CAASM product works is by integrating seamlessly into your existing data sets, into your IT technologies, your security technologies, your endpoint, your cloud, your DevOps tooling. The real IP for us is not the API integrations, right? Most tech these days have pretty good API integrations. There's Python libraries to go pull data from them. That's kind of the low-hanging fruit. Where it becomes really tricky is how you normalize that data, how you avoid duplicates, and certainly some of the competition in the space in the CAASM industry that were more established when I was at AIG and looking around at the market had really bad challenges when it comes to data quality. And at the end of the day, if you want to try and drive decision-making based on asset telemetry, you need to be damn sure that the asset is accurate, especially if you're going to drive automation around that, right? I certainly don't want to integrate bad asset data into my zero trust model and start isolating systems that have been incorrectly classified. And so data quality, the way that we brought in all these different data sources, and what you see on the screen today is just a small example of what we can integrate with. So ingesting that, normalizing it, enriching it, allowing you to visualize that information so that you can make it operationally useful, right? There's a lot of data. If I'm in vulnerability management, I'm often, when I look at my Qualys dashboard or my Tenable dashboard, I'm often overwhelmed with the amount of data that's in those dashboards. So visualization and making sense of all this information is super, super important. And then finally, making it actionable. So within the NetSPI platform that we're now integrating the Hubble capability into, we're really focusing on actionability. Right? What are the top 3 things I can do today as a vulnerability manager or as a risk and compliance professional? What are the things I can really focus on today to make the most meaningful difference in my security program? And so the way we really distinguish that knowledge graph and visualizations are a really important part of that. We can support infinite asset types. There are other CAASM vendors out there will tell you that an asset is just an IP address connected to your network. You go talk to a board member and ask them about what they care about. They care about value protection. They care about protecting their brand. They care about protecting the robustness of their IT operations. And so when you think about assets in that context, it becomes a lot more, right? It's my data, it's my applications, my user information. And so we support unlimited amounts of assets. There are going to be asset classes that we haven't even imagined yet. There are use cases that we haven't even imagined yet. And this is kind of the security paradigm, right? Because tech is changing so rapidly, we need technologies that are flexible enough to keep up with that. And so we have a taxonomy that can keep up with that change. Integrations we've talked about, right? We can integrate with pretty much whatever is in your own environment. You've got custom applications. We can integrate with that too. And we really do believe that as crowded as this space is becoming, we really do have a unique blend of capabilities that is bringing a new type of CAASM to the market. And I think we've chatted through this quite a bit already. So Vinay, do you want to chat a little bit in the time we have left about how that dovetails into continuous posture management?
Yeah. So this is CTEM. This is threat exposure management, the way Gartner defines it. This is a process, right? This is the process for companies to follow, right from how do you scope and discover your network, scope your problem, prioritize your assets, prioritize vulnerabilities, validate. So what we have built with CAASM that we are building, and with the platform that we have built over the last few years, that the new platform that we introduced a couple months back, directly addresses your CTEM processes. And CTEM is, again, a direct framework that allows you to deliver proactive security. So all of our investment, as I said, discover, prioritize, remediate, right? It fits into this CTEM process. So depending on which kind of a terminology you use or a process you use, end of the day, visibility into your assets, super important, one way or the other. Internal, external, ephemeral assets, Kubernetes workload, serverless, users, identities are also assets, or identities are also potential attack surfaces. So visibility into all of that is probably the number one priority. And then you layer on top of it vulnerabilities, exposures, risks, et cetera, and build on top, right? So that's the journey we are on. Sorry. Just 1 second. So this is the platform that brings it together. If you look at the left nav, we are showing you PTAS, ASM, BAS, and CAASM. This is where we are layering multiple modules, and over time we'll build additional use cases and modules to further go deeper and deeper into the proactive security space. And you can stop by our booth. It's right around the corner here. You can look at a demo. We have integrated CAASM into the product within the last 2-3 weeks. There's some nice giveaways, so if you want swag. And we have our marketing leader sitting here, Tanya. She's got some handouts as well if you want. Finally, right, we started with this. So top takeaways, the same things we started with. Understand your attack surface. It's complex. Understand the process, discover, prioritize, remediate. Have a well-articulated way of doing proactive security. Build a playbook for yourself, and we are here to help you there. Come by our booth. There's more information and demos. You can scan the QR code to download an ebook, and it's an interesting book, like all ebooks are. Or come by and chat with us. Thanks very much.